right. Okay, so I sent you Misty's bio for a particular reason, because I didn't want to read it, because I just wanted to introduce her from the heart much more than reading the bio. But you've all got it, so you know she's got a great background, and I think the biggest thing about Misty is her passion and understanding for network marketing and her real belief in it. So there's lots of people who talk about sales out there, but they do other type of sales. Or someone else I need to let someone else in. They do other type of sales. Misty really gets us. She gets what we're about. Now, also, you will remember that Belinda and I qualified for an amazing trip to the Caribbean. And I think about 2 months before the end, or maybe 6 weeks actually before the end, I reached out to Misty and I just went, I just need to have someone else to talk to be accountable to give me some ideas, because I really, I really want to make this, and I've got a pretty tight deadline. And she was just there every week. We had a call. She gave me different ideas. I worked on things and made it. So, it was just, I always thank her often on our different calls that we're on, just saying, just to give her a bit real rap, because it really made a difference for me. And so when you have someone who, adores her kids the way we all adore our kids, who, gets in the car and does road trips because she wants to be at an event. She just does all the kind of things that we do as a team and as a group. And so I can't think of anybody better to introduce you to do a session like this. And she's really researched, she's listened to, Raquel and me go on about what we do and why we do it and how we do it and where the gaps are. And she's listened, and she's ready to go. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Misty. And I love your style and I love you. So that's it from me. And I'm going to hand over and just go for it, girl. That's you. It's you now.
Excellent. When Heather says that I get it, I do get it. I actually believe network marketing is like seriously the coolest thing on the planet. You've already got a product that's proven and amazing. It comes at a price that you can't pick. You haven't made it, and it's already proved out there in the world, and business in a box. Kath and Nicole know me from because Kath and I have been we've known each other from networking since I started way back in, I don't know, 12 years ago. And I did Lorraine Lee Linen for a year.
A long time.
Yeah, and I did Lorraine Lee Linen underneath Kath for a year, and I was without a doubt one of the worst people you could ever have as a recruit. But I was testing out different areas of how network marketing works, and regarding networking and things like that. Because I was always teaching sales, but I had a lot of network marketers that say, I don't think it works through networking, and I don't think it works this way, and I don't think it works this way. So I thought, well, I'll test out I'll test out a company, and then I get the inside of how going to the conventions and having the monthly meetings and getting the phone calls and just being an absolute rubbish person, which, to be fair, I'm lucky that Kath didn't just dump me as a friend entirely, because I was one of those horrible ones, right? that we all end up with, those recruits that we all end up with, right? And it wasn't that I was deliberately doing that. It's just that that's how you can fall into that space. You can fall into that space, or your recruits can, and then you end up losing some friendships over it. But it gave me the insight into how not to do that as well. So really love everything about network marketing. And so even how to sell to family and friends. Even Jim Rohn would say, Jim Rohn had a system for selling to family and friends. And I teach it all the time, not just to network marketers, but to anyone who wants to sell something. So the cool thing about me is I do understand network marketing, and I really do believe in it. And I also don't do network marketing, which makes me very cool to talk to about selling, because that's all that I teach. And you're right, Heather, it just gives you a different perspective, because when you get into that network marketing world, you're always talking it from the network marketing perspective. Sometimes you need a new idea as well. So chatting to Heather, chatting to Belinda, chatting to Raquel online, I was asking some questions as to what needs to be done. So I believe it's like a 12-week sort of reset for Christmas, or get ready for Christmas type thing that we're doing here. So I like to go back to basics. and to really pin everything back down to what's the easiest way to sell. I run a class on and off called How to Be a Mom and a Network Marketer at the Same Time. Whether you're a mom or not, you sort of get the idea, right? Mums are multitasking life, jobs, kids, all those things, and they want to have their own business as well, right? But it could be just the same for if you're not a mom, you might be an aunt, or you could have a job and you're trying to do this thing at the same time, and hey, things get in the way. I'm one of those coaches that if I turned around and said, let me just pick on somebody, Kel, how many sales do you want to make this year? Given that we're more than halfway through, how many did you want to make?
As in personally enrolled?
Yeah, personally enrolled.
God, Misty, I don't even think of that. 5 a month. Well,
5 a month. All right, let's go with that. 60. How are you?
Okay.
It's been on track. Are you on track with that?
yeah.
Okay, great. Well, why only do 5? Why not do like 30? Why not one a day?
Why not? I'd love that.
Yeah, okay. And so what's the difference between 5 a month and one a day? Because 5 a month is what, let's say one a week versus one a day. Can anyone tell me the difference between one a week and one a day?
Well,
It's not a number.
The difference for me would just be consistency, day in, day out, and doing the actionable tasks that I often go, oh, just don't want to do it today.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell you the easiest difference between it, right? Because I'm not one of those coaches that says, well, what got in the way of, let's say you wanted to do 30 a month, but you're only doing 5. Then I'd ask, what got in the way of that? And you'd say all these different life excuses, right? I'm one of these coaches that says, I don't know how many of this there are, probably not many, that says, that's cool, that's called life. We're not doing this to get out of life. It's not an either or. It's we're doing this so that we can have life. So if you have the excuse that life is getting in your way, that's cool. We just have to work another way around how you get what you want and get life at the same time. So you get both. It's not an either or. It's an all of. It's a success thing. And success is not limited to one person. It's not a running race here. So it is possible to do all of it. I'll tell you the difference between 5 and 30. 5 is really one a week, right? Which means that once a week you remember to talk to somebody about what it is you're planning on doing. And 30 is 7 a week, which means that every day you remember to speak to someone about what you're doing. And it's the real main difference between achieving 1 sale a week versus 1 sale a day. It's just remembering to speak about it. So I'm going to put my contact details into the chat box. I'm available like all the time. People can just call me, ask questions. I respond to phone calls and emails, text messages, all of that stuff. The other thing I'm putting into the chat box is a link. If you can all just click it to make sure that it works, tell me that it works. It goes to our Etsy store, and in the middle, well, one of the ones there is called How to Go From No Sales to Sales. Can you just click on that and make sure that the link works? The reason I'm asking you to do that is I say write notes, and I've also written a bunch load of notes. So if you want to download the notes, they'll cost you $11 and they're right there, right? And ultimately, it's my book, this one. So I know Kath has it. It's my book that gives all the answers, and I'm about to turn around and talk about them today. So when we go down to, thanks, Kath. She's saying the link works. So when we go to, we're looking at how to go from no sales to sales, or back to basics, right? There's 5 steps in a sales system that when you do any of these 5, like if you do these 5 steps, you will always end up with sales, right? And if you don't end up with sales, you get to go back to the 5 steps and then discover what did you do wrong, because it sits somewhere in these 5 steps. I'll ask quickly, and it's just with a show of hands. Who's ever had a customer that you really thought was going to buy and then didn't buy, and then you didn't truly find out why, you just think you know why? Who thinks they know why customers don't buy? Oh, yeah, great. Kath, tell me some reasons why customers don't buy. You're on mute, honey. You're on mute.
Yeah, I thought hit the wrong button. They don't have all the information they think they need. It's not the right time. They thought they wanted it, but they really don't need it in their place. It's the wrong price. They can't be bothered.
Yep, sure. Raquel, got anything else?
Did you say money?
I didn't know. You can list other things, and if it's the same thing, yep, the price.
Skepticism. Does it actually work? It's a lot to invest. Maybe it won't work. You know, it's
Yeah,
not the right
Ron's-
time. They're about to go away on holiday.
Yep, Ron's saying they get busy. Yep, absolutely. So notice that I very specifically asked, who thinks they know why people don't buy? And then hands went up, right? What if the reason they didn't buy is because you did something wrong? Ever occur to you? Maybe it was you
All the time.
and
All
not
the
them.
time.
Okay, cool. Usually that's why someone doesn't buy. It's you. You did something. And so the secret becomes just working out what you did wrong. And then the secret isn't to do something different. It's just to stop doing that. If you stop doing the thing you're doing wrong, you don't replace it with something else. You just stop it. And then the customer can do the rest. I've just put into the chat box the 5 steps to how to go from no sales to sales. It's this: get known for the thing that you sell. And my N is a bit separate, but get known for the thing that you sell. Number 2 is deliver the price. So be able to say the price without sounding anxious, without discounting, without being a bit fussy about it, without umming and ahhing, right? Just say the price. Be silent. If customers know what you sell and how much it costs, and if you're quiet, they can buy. It's amazing, this system. Let me ask quickly, who's ever gone to the store, Woolworths or Coles, and bought groceries? Just put your hand up. All right, I'm not going to go with everyone else has probably done it. Heather's never done it. She can't even hear me, right? So we've all been to the store to buy groceries, right? Ever had to go in to buy one thing? Let's call it milk, right? You're just going in just to get milk. That's it, nothing else, and you leave with a shopping bag full of stuff, I don't know, $30 to $50. Who's done that, right? Yeah. Here's how the stuff made you buy. It sat silently on the shelf with its price. Because you knew what it was and how much it cost, you couldn't help yourself. And it didn't talk to you on the way. It didn't say, hey, pick me, pick me, pick me. It just sat there and waited, and you did it all by yourself. The real secret to sales, see, people believe that the secret to sales is learning how to sell. It's not. It's just it's learning how to shop, or allowing the customers to shop how they've always done it. They've always done this. Think about the things. All right. Now I know that on a Tuesday night, they take all the tickets off, all the special tickets off, because Wednesday they're putting new tickets on. When COVID hit, and then half the grocery stores lost their staff due to COVID, so they only had a certain amount of people, I'd go in on a Wednesday to buy chocolate, and it'd blow my mind how on a Wednesday morning, that's not the first aisle that they put all the specials up at, because seriously, that's the first aisle everyone's going to, right? And I eat chocolate like all the time, and I'm prepared to have a block of chocolate a day at $5, $6 a block, right? I'm prepared to do that. It doesn't mean I'm going to spend that much money on a block of chocolate. I'm prepared to, but I don't want to. It's amazing how much I couldn't shop on a Wednesday when they didn't put those tickets up. Even though I was prepared to spend the money, it irritated me that I didn't know the exact price it was going to be. And so, as a result of not knowing the price, because when a grocery store, when half the staff are out due to COVID, they have to put everybody on the checkouts. So they can't do the other little things around the store, like adjust the prices where they're supposed to be. And so as a result, it made it really difficult to do the shopping. Because I just like to know how much it's going to be when I get the checkout. I know I got the cash, I just wanted to know. And so I would not blame the chocolate bars. I'd blame the store. When the store didn't deliver me the price easily, I blamed them, right? So delivering the price like this, how much does it cost to, let's say, have collagen, right? Belinda, I'll go with you. Do you know how much it costs for collagen?
$205. $205.
There you go, $205. All right, let me go another one. Who have we got? Rachel, how much is it for the reset program?
30-day reset.
Yep, 30-day reset.
471 normally. At the moment, it's 424.
Stop. See, too many numbers. 471. Just go with that, right?
Okay.
When you give too many numbers, customer can't work it out, right? Don't worry about what the special price is, because I may not be able to get it for another 2 weeks, and it may not fall into that range, right? But if you tell me what the exact price is, ordinarily, all I have to do is go, and because I'm asking, how much is it? If a customer is asking you how much is it, they're more than 50% across the way to buy. So if you just tell them one price, that's all they ask for, $471, all I have to do, I'll go silent. Well, I think, do I have that in my bank account? Or which bank account do I have that in? Or what am I going to give up this month to make sure that I can get that at that price? So where am I going to switch the money around? Notice while the customer is going silent and thinking about where they're doing their banking, right, which is step number 3, that's usually where the salesman gets anxious. Oh no, they've gone silent. Let me explain it. The more you talk, the less they can buy, right? In today's world, and today is since Google. Yesterday's world was before Google. Yesterday's world, we had traditional sales training. So before Google, we had traditional sales training. Salesman was taught this. Ask really good questions so you can qualify the client and lead them in the right direction. Who's heard that before? Right? Yeah. That was before Google, and it worked beautifully because the salesman was the star of the show. Since Google, it's terrible. Ask really good questions. Well, that means you want to know stuff the customer doesn't even want to tell you. Plus, the customer's been Googling already, right? So they know intimately their problem and they've come up with a solution, but no interest in talking about their solution to the salesman. And so they have questions. In today's world, because of Google, customers are the only ones with good questions, therefore making the customer the star of the show. Google is the computer. Google is wherever the customer can get information from. Salesmen have become a part of Google. They're not the star anymore. They're just an information space, right? And then they're facilitated a buy at the end. I was chatting to someone the other day, just through Messenger, and you can imagine, it'll irritate you. So you can't imagine how much it was irritating me, right? And I put up with it for 15 to 30 minutes. Some person who's left their other network marketing company, great company, LifeVantage, left them to join one that's so much better, guaranteed to make so much more money. All right, it's a company name that nobody's ever heard of before. So we know where that's headed, right? And anyhow, so I said, oh, well, what's this company? Sounds like network marketing. What's the company? Love network marketers. Tells me the name of the company. I Google it. And of course, I find motorsports parts underneath the same name. And but apparently, no, it's not. It's something to do with crypto. Of course it is. So anyhow, I said, so what's the product that you like the most? Is it the product or is it the business section? Oh, it's the gold. Here, let me explain. And then off she goes. So enamored was she by the sound of her own voice and the knowledge of which she'd accumulated in the last, I don't know, week and a half. She just kept going and going, typing, until she then went into the talking phase where she'd gone into Messenger, talked a message through, sent it through, talked another message through. And I thought, wow, I think she's just bought that product for herself another 4 times. But I was gone. I'd lost interest. In today's world, the person who speaks the most buys the product. Here's the secret. Don't let it be you. You already have the product. You don't need to sell yourself on it. Which means customers don't need the science in order to buy. They just need to know how it will help them. But they'll ask the question, hey, I have this problem and I was just wondering, would that help me with that? Here's your answer, yes, if it helps. Or no, if it doesn't. Well, I need to go off my medication. Or no, don't recommend that at all. Go see a doctor. That's it. That's as much as you need to say, right? You don't need to go into any science. Science is fun and interesting, but only about 8 months after they've solved most of their health problem. It's not interesting at the beginning for them to buy. Solving their hurt is interesting to the customer. The science side is interesting to the salesman. But if you're in your story selling what you want to talk about, then of course you've missed what they want to talk about. It's important. Go back to basics is let the customer do all the talking. They'll sell this to themselves. And you get to write this down. You get to have this line. I can help you with that. I can help you with that. Yes, I can help you with that. That's your line, right? No, I don't help with that, but no, I can help with the other thing, right? We've all heard of life coaches. Ever heard of life coaches that say, oh, I do a discovery call, 45-minute discovery call or a free 1-hour discovery call, right? And you know it's a sales pitch, right? It's free. It's a discovery call so that then, they can discover. Everybody knows it, so that they can discover what your problem is, so that they can prove to you that they can help it. Therefore, you will then want life coaching on the other side. Do you know how easy it is for life coaches to convert a person from a discovery call into a client? Yeah, you're right. You're right, Belinda. It's really hard because they've solved the problem. But you know what the customer's after? They're not after their problem being solved the moment that they call up for a discovery call. They want to discover, can this person help me with my problem? Discovery call should take, I don't know, less than 10 minutes. Doctors take less than 10 minutes to discover what your illness is. They charge you $80 for the wait in the waiting room, and then they give you an idea and send you on your way. You don't have to like their idea. They just tell you what it is anyway, right? And doctors are only discovering what your problem is, right? And then saying, yeah, look, I can help you with that. And here's what we say as a customer. Oh, how can you help? Well, if you've got a sore throat, I suggest you stop drinking hot coffee this week and rest it. Don't talk so much. If you can get out of a couple of meetings, hey, lie down for 2 days. Take 2 days off work. If you're like my husband, who 18 years ago, when we first met, he said, I have a sore throat. I think it's throat cancer. You can imagine what he was doing, right? Googling. You should come with me. All right. And we'd only just met. I think you need to come with me to the doctors. Let's do it. So we go to the doctors, new doctor, because he's not used to going to the doctors anyway. And she looks at his throat. She says, what's the problem, Simon? And he says, I've got a sore throat. And she looks at it and she says, you're right, you do have a sore throat. Here's my suggestion. If you can, take a couple of days off work, lay down and rest. You drink coffee? He said, yes. He said, great. Maybe if you could give that a break, only because you probably drink it hot and it's a little bit hot for your throat, so just give it a rest this week. Okay. He says, all right. She says, you good? He says, yeah, I think you're asking me enough questions. She says, what else should I be asking you? He said, if I'm a smoker. Oh, good idea. Simon, do you smoke? Yes, I do. Okay, if you could hold off on a few of those this week, or if you normally smoke 7 a day, if you cut it down to 3, that'd be good for your throat because it's irritating it. He goes, yeah, I don't think you're asking me enough questions. She goes, what is it? He said, how long have I been smoking for? Okay, how long have you been smoking for? Since I was 8, I'm now 27, so I've been smoking for nearly 20 years. And she says, yeah, it's not throat cancer, stop Googling. Turns out Simon didn't like her answers, but they were pretty simple, right? And as a customer, he had the opportunity to ask her to check into it a bit more. But she said, I'm not sending you for any scans. See if you get over it in a week. If you don't, come back. I'll look into something else. But we'll rest your throat first, right? And he's been fine ever since. That was 18 years ago. So it turns out, for the salesman, being the doctor, he's quiet. Customer does the talking. Doctor says, yep, I can help you with that. Customer says, how? Here's my suggestions. And customer can ask to adjust it along the way if that's what they'd like. But the customer is asking the questions. That's why they believe in the salesman, the doctor, right? So steps 1, 2, and 3, get known for the thing you sell, deliver the price, and be silent. If you do those 3, if they know what you sell and they know the price and you're quiet, they can buy. Now, from time to time, the customer isn't buying. They're collecting information for them, for somebody else. They're still just trying to talk themselves into it. They're trying to talk somebody else into it. They're trying to talk themselves around, having to tell someone in the house that this is what I want to do, knowing that someone else in the house, and you're getting it, Raquel, someone else in the house is going to say, I don't know why you bother with those things, right? So they're trying to manage other people's expectations. So they've got a lot going on. But notice now, I've touched on a bunch of areas that we didn't say this is why a customer doesn't buy earlier. Customer doesn't buy what we think. We make up stories. It's because of the price, because they don't understand, because they don't want to look after themselves, because they're trying something else, because. But hey, what if it's just because they're tired of having somebody else in the house override their decisions, or not support the decisions that they make, and then deliberately turn around and eat hot chips in front of them. It's just cruel. So they're trying to manage other people's expectations or their expectations of the other person's thoughts and emotions. So they're trying to manage other things. Sometimes they don't buy because they're worn out from trying to manage everybody else in the house. Should we blame the customer for that? I don't think so. It's a bad spot to be in. We get to be friends with that person, right? And if you're doing weight loss stuff, honestly, one of the main reasons they don't buy is they're trying to manage everybody else's expectations of what they believe that customer is planning on doing. I know when my Simon quit smoking when Jack was getting born, so that was 14 years ago, he was quitting smoking and he was planning on putting on weight upon quitting smoking because he was swapping food for cigarettes. That's his plan. And he did. He put on 26 kilos. I don't know. 6 months later, he said, right, ready to lose it. Here's my eating plan. Make sure that this is all that's bought for me and cooked for me. And I've gone, well, my mum's been on diets her whole life and I've had to listen to my dad and everybody else say, you know, how rubbish the whole thing is. So I'll just eat what he's eating in the order of which he eats it. There's a few ingredients I'm not eating at all. And I'll just do what he does. It was remarkable. Lost 26 kilos in 13 weeks. And honestly, I believe it was because I was doing the same thing in the house and just said, yep, that's fine, let's do it. As opposed to him having to listen to me whinge about having to cook his thing versus my thing and then watch me eat something else. So, you know, you're in the health world, so therefore everybody else's thoughts and opinions get in the way. Who's ever heard the Jim Rohn story, The Seed and the Sower? Anyone heard that? It's a good story, right? And it tells you of, you know, a person who gets a really good idea, the one that's decided to start a network marketing company or use network marketing products. But then the ideas get stolen by someone else. He said the seeds, sometimes they just fall out of the bag and the birds get them. He said the birds are pretty much like the next door neighbor said, network marketing or that product, I tried that years ago, it never worked. Right? So it's other people's thoughts and opinions they have to get themselves around, which sucks because now they're trying to manage their thoughts and opinions as well as everyone else's. Life's pretty hard for the customer, right? But if we go back again, if they know what you sell, how much it costs, and if you're quiet, they can buy. But if something gets in the way to stop them from buying, we need to have number 4, have a follow-up system. Whose follow-up system is, because I believe everybody has a follow-up system these days. Whose follow-up system is, would it be all right if I call you in a couple of weeks? No one. That's fantastic. Who's heard that one before? Would it be all right if I check in a couple of weeks or in 3 months' time to see how you're going? Right? Would it be all right? Yeah? I'll tell you why this is a terrible follow-up system. This is you asking permission for something that you want to do, where you're more interested in what you getting a sale than you are in them getting, and yours is a health product, getting their health sorted. So that line, would it be all right if I follow up with you, is off the cards. Not allowed to do it. Because as a salesman, your number one job is to make sure the customer gets what they need, whether you get a sale or not. So if the customer wants to lose weight, then you have the opportunity to help them lose weight. But if they've decided they want to do it for free via, I don't know, some recipe from the internet, just encourage them. Be their friend. Yes, test it out. I mean, it wouldn't be number 1 on Google unless it worked, right? Test it. I want to see how it works. Be their friend. Poor customer is dealing with everybody else's thoughts and opinions. They certainly don't need a salesman's based off. We salesmen desperately want to help. We also want the sale. We have a lot of things going on too. We want the sale. We need the sale. We'd like the extra cash. We're working really hard with everybody. You know, we work more hours than most people. And sometimes it feels like to no results. So, of course, we start to have our thoughts and opinions as well. I want someone just listen to me for a change. And that's fair and valid, right? But ultimately, as a salesman, your job is to help the customer get what they want. So if they come up with another way, you encourage them to do that. since nobody else in their life is going to encourage this, you get to. Write this down. Money goes to the nicest person in the room. Be the nicest person in the room. Right. Who's ever been on a cruise before? Thought about, yep, been on a cruise. All right, here we go. When you've gone to go on a cruise, have you said to someone, oh my God, I'm going on a cruise, I'm so excited? And to have that person turn around and say, a cruise, oh no, I'd never do that. Aren't you worried about getting seasick? And you think, wow, couldn't you just say that's cool? Do I have to listen to your thoughts and opinions? Ultimately, that's what happens to all of us all the time. I can tell you why we come up with problems, the dumb shit all the time. It's because God made us problem solvers. In order to have a problem to solve, we must have a problem. So by default, we humans create problems out of literally nothing. And so a problem is something to overcome. It's a negative thing. The solution is the positive thing. So by default, we automatically head towards the negative. Your job as a salesman is head towards a positive. Customer says, I'd much rather do this myself, or I'm going to go with somebody else, or I think I'll just buy an Enagic water system and drink water for the rest of my life. Just say, that's an amazing idea. Do that. Super excited to hear how it goes, right? In my follow-up system in the book, it says, I'll be your plan B. Plan B means I'm not going anywhere. And hey, if plan A doesn't work, you can come back and talk to me about it, right? How often does plan A work? Well, if it worked, we wouldn't need coaches, right? Plan A is just the first idea we come across. Plan A is, who's the dude that did the light bulb? Plan A was number one. And then it was plan 10,000 that had the light bulb working, right? So scientific experiment, you don't get it right the first time. It takes many experiments, right? Customers are the same. They like to run their experiments first, right? Before they get help. So we need a follow-up system that allows you to follow up on how they're going, which by default is a great advertising tool for them to remember that you're thinking about them, since nobody else is. It's kind of a nice spot to be in, actually, right? It turns everyone into your instant friend. You get to look at them as not a customer or a potential customer, but a friend. You just don't know that well yet, right? Since you now know what their problem is, all right? And then step number 5 is get known by more people. That's advertising. Did anyone go and see Deadpool and Wolverine? Did anyone hear about it on the news or social media or see an ad anywhere? Okay, so I'm going to take you, Rachel. How much advertising did Ryan Reynolds do for Deadpool and Wolverine?
I'm not sure how much, but I do recall seeing him.
Right, so it's so constant that if you guys go to YouTube and Google Deadpool and Wolverine, or just Google Deadpool and Wolverine, you will never get it out of your feed ever. Not only did he do all this advertising leading up to it this year, leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine, and then it's been out 7 weeks, and there's still all the advertising he's done in the last 7 weeks after Deadpool and Wolverine, so that the interviews and everything he's done after the movies. For 20 years, he's been talking about it. Yep, Rachel, sorry.
Sorry, I'm just going to say, talking about advertising, because that's my full-time job. But the movie Barbie, they spent more on advertising than the actual movie.
There you go, right? Here, Disneyland. The CEO of Disneyland, a number of years ago, I looked it up, was earning something like $56 million, the CEO. He's in charge of every person that goes near Disneyland. The customers, the workers, the contractors, the next door neighbor's cat that jumps the fence, like everything. He's responsible for the health and safety of everything that goes near Disneyland, right? But the advertising company gets paid more than him because they're responsible for bringing in customers. And customers bring in cash. You can give cash to the person who brings in the most cash. Soccer players. Let's look at this. Right. I was listening to a video the other day about, in a way, it wasn't wrong, but it wasn't right either, in my view, as a sales trainer, right? So saying soccer players, right, over in England earn millions of dollars per game, American football players, whatever, earn millions of dollars, but let's go with soccer, right? How is it that soccer players get paid so much money? I'll give you a hint, it's not because they play soccer.
Because they have so many people watching them.
Because they advertise soccer. Because they bring in the crowd to soccer, and I'm not just saying the game, soccer, the team colours, the clothes, the hot dogs, the little league, the coaching, you name it, across the world. These guys that play really good bring in so much money to soccer, the industry. Soccer, the industry pays them a lot of money. Basically, these guys advertise soccer to the world. And so as a result, because they bring in so much cash, the industry is able to pay them so much cash. So really, we get paid to advertise. You can't hurt yourself from overexposure. Rachel, you probably back me up on this, but you cannot hurt yourself by putting too much information out on every single social media page. It can't be done. Coca-Cola had decided that it was going to be the #1 soft drink across the world. At the beginning, we go, God, Coke's like on every ad. It's like every ad on TV, or it's like, oh, it shows up in the movies. I wonder how much the product placement costs, and it's on every billboard, and right? Coke now says, well, we're our ads, since the traditional ways aren't as useful as they used to be. As long as we show up in every supermarket, in every takeaway joint, in every service station, in every place where it's possible to get a drink, we're good. We'll just show up that way. So that's how they do it. And as a result, they're the biggest name in soft drink across the world. Let's take a little company that sells hamburgers. Biggest name in hamburgers across the world. What company is that?
Macca's.
Macca's, yeah. In over 30 years, they've never changed their branding. 30 years that we've had it in Australia, but they've never changed their branding. Right? They've run the same ad. We sell hamburgers, we sell hamburgers, we sell hamburgers. Pretty much doesn't change. They just change which burger it is in the ad. But they run the same ad. It's never changed. Is old man McDonald tired of the ad? Of course he is. That's why we gave it to an advertising company. Now think about this. The advertising company, the original advertising company, are they the same advertising companies now? Probably not. And the reason being is the original advertising company, a year later, probably got bored with that ad and so said, oh, I know what we could do to spice it up. And they've gone, yeah, that's really cool. You're sacked. I've got the next guy. Could you just run the original ad? Now let's compare it to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Who remembers Kentucky Fried Chicken? So I remember Kentucky Fried Chicken. 11 Secret Herbs and Spices, right? They showed up the same time as McDonald's. They ran ads for like 10 years, and then they disappeared. What happened to that? They disappeared for about 10 years. KFC started to go down in the world of selling fast food. So they decided that they had to get ads out there again. Some marketing company told them they needed to rebrand it. Lord knows what that cost, to KFC. How much did it piss us original people off who knew the Kentucky Fried Chicken ad with the 11 Secret Herbs and Spices? It's taken us 10 years to get used to saying KFC, and we still sit around. I still say to the boys, oh, the original ads with the 11 Secret Herbs and Spices, they're like, what's that? That's so sad. How can you not know about the 11 Secret Herbs and Spices? That was the point, right? But due to all the rebranding, they've never quite got back as high as what McDonald's has been. They never really needed to rebrand. They needed to re-ad. Just run the same ad back out again. They could have just thrown in the original ads. Never really changed it. McDonald's didn't. Coke hasn't. They've never rebranded. And as a result, they sell more drinks, more hamburgers than anyone else, right? Nike, just do it. Never changed their branding. And so when we think of sport, that's the first thing we think of with sport. Sports clothes and equipment and things like that. That's the first brand that we think of. And then we might look into the others as well. So advertising, get known for more people. But what do we get known for? Step number one, the thing that you sell. Isagenix, the product you decide to sell, right? Deliver the price, be silent. Now, we're really simplifying that. Let me ask. Let me go around. Any questions, thoughts, ideas? Anyone want to add something in or ask a question? Rachel.
So you know how you said let them do all the talking.
Yep.
What if they don't want to talk? You get like one word answers when you're talking to them.
Set me up. How did they end up in front of you to be talking or not talking?
I sent them a message and they sent me a message back. So I asked them
Okay.
a question and I get one word answer back like, sure.
What was your question?
My question was, something along the lines of, we have a 30-day reset happening. Would you like some more information on how it works? Sure.
Great.
Okay.
So what's
Then
the
I asked them-
information? What'd you give him?
Then I asked them another question.
Stop. You didn't give him the information?
No.
Why not?
Well, so it depends on the person. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I give them the information. Sometimes I ask them another question, depending.
Okay, so you just stop there for a moment. We'll just deal with that.
Mm.
You asked them, do you want more information? They said, sure. Then you went off into a whole new question. So then you ignored what you offered to do for them.
Actually, no, that's not a good example. Normally, if they say sure,
But actually, it is a good example. A lot of network marketers do that, though. So it is a
Yeah.
good example, right?
normally I would say I'll give the information. But if it was something else related, yeah, I'd ask another question.
Yeah, no, well, give me a second question then. Okay, sure, I'd like more information. Great. So what's your second question to that?
Okay, can I ask you first, are you looking at help help with any of the following? Bloating, weight, energy, sleep,
Righto. I'll
stress.
pretend I'm your customer. No,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for anything. You wrote to me and asked me if I wanted more information. Why are you now asking questions about me? Because you wrote to me.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem we salesmen fall into is if you want to have a conversation asking if somebody has any issues, ask it.
Well,
But I don't
generally
often-
I would be, before I can tailor the, we've got a few programs, before I can give you the exact solution for you, can I ask you a few questions first?
No, because I have no problems. You were
Okay.
just offering me some information.
But this is going nowhere.
That's right. But who set that up for it to go nowhere?
Me.
Yeah. So you started with a bad question, or you decided to ignore what you asked.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you're going to say, hey, I've got some information, would you like more of it? If you're after a yes answer, then you better have that backed up with, let's say, a workshop or an information session or a webinar or something. If
But
you
what
don't
if
have
they're
that-
like, I'm not interested. What's your workshop about? Well, it's about health. Well, I'm fine. I'm really healthy.
But you already asked them, do you want more information on whatever it was? They said, sure. So you say, great. At this time, at this date, I'm running this workshop, this information session. Here's a free link. Love for you to join in. They're either going to, if the time works for you, there's the line for you all. If the time works for you, then all they have to do is look at their diary. Actually, the time does work for me. Looks like I'll be over at that workshop. If you say, if you're interested, well, I'm not. Nobody's interested until after they've done it. They just don't know that they're interested yet. So you need to get them in first. Time is the way to get people to things. If the time works, here's the free link, right? Because then they only look at their diary and go, oh, no, I've got something on. I don't have time. Oh, I don't have anything on. Oh, I guess I'll be over there. That's how the brain works, right? So if you want to start a conversation with someone and ask, then you have to, and talk about something else, you're going to have to ask better questions or different ones.
Well, my thing that I do is I try and build a relationship first. So if I try and get them onto a webinar or a workshop without building that relationships, 9.5 times out of 10, they will not show up.
Okay, here's my question. Yep. Who are you trying to build this relationship with? Are you just picked a dead set stranger, or is it someone that you kind of...
it's someone I would have connected with on Facebook and,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yep.
not a dead, I wouldn't, yeah. You'd have to build the relationship before you go into that.
All right, write this down, guys. Building a relationship is rubbish, right? And then I'll explain it. So just write it down first, right? Building a relationship is rubbish. Traditional sales training taught that one. Build the relationship. Build the field and they will come. Building a relationship is rubbish. You get to do this. You get to maintain the relationship you already have. You don't have to build it. If it's not a dead set stranger, you don't have to build a relationship. If you're both friends on Facebook but never actually met yet, but they said yes to your request or you said yes to theirs, you have a relationship. So you have to build it. So if you say to somebody who's, say, one of your friends on Facebook that you've never met before and said, hey, I'm doing this thing, would you like more information? They say, sure, give them the information to get over there and assume you're already friends. I'll ask you this, and Rachel, I'm just asking you, I'm not asking you personally, I'm just going to use your name while I'm chatting this way, right?
Yeah,
Rachel, do you assume that the person you write to is friendly? I mean, they're a friend of yours on Facebook. Do you assume that they're friendly?
of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, just stop there.
Mm,
Because you're a friendly person, right?
yeah.
Right. So if you're a friendly person and they've decided to be friends with you and you assume that they're friendly, then there's no reason to build a relationship. It's already there. Here's where salesmen go wrong, right? In the building of the relationship. They assume it's not there. And in the effort to build the relationship, they now break the relationship with the person that they thought they already had with you. They just didn't remember how you met either. They thought that was their fault. Shit, I forgot how we knew each other. They don't remember if you signed up to them or they signed up to you. Right? So you get to write this down. Assume rapport. Just assume you're already friends. If you're a friendly person, there's no reason for you not to assume this. Right? And then after that, maintain it. Now, let's say we go this way. Let's say a person knows you're an Isagenix consultant, right? And then comes towards you and says, oh, can I ask you some questions about Isagenix, right? All you get to do is answer their questions. Yes, you can. Then they'll ask a question. You answer that. They'll ask a question. You answer that. Your job is to maintain rapport. If a customer has come to you, they've already assumed it. They've already thought that you're friends. Here's where salesmen go wrong. Oh, here, let me tell you something a bit about me and the company so that you know you can trust me. And then it becomes, I thought I'd already bypassed that already because I've been Googling you for a while, right? Don't ever assume the customer doesn't know who you are just because you don't know who they are. You don't know how long they've been looking. Or if you've reached out to somebody in your, say, friendship base from Facebook and they've answered you back, yeah, sure, give me some information, then don't assume that they haven't been watching you silently for a long time. So again, you don't have to build rapport. It was already there, right? Plenty of us might say, yeah, all right, give me some more information with a friend from Facebook without knowing who they are, right? But if you were to reach out and we just say, oh, sure, just give me the information and then I'll decide if I want it, right? But that's fine. You were cold calling anyway. A cold call is not an instant sale. It takes 3 to 7 exposures to go from a dead set cold call, like they didn't know you were going to call them, to then move towards you anyway. So if you're going to cold call your friendship database, just expect 3 to 7 exposures, right? Otherwise, it's as good as this. I'm thinking I might get married. What I'll do is I'll go online, I'll start chatting to someone and say, hey, we should catch up for coffee. And then I rock up in the wedding dress with a priest. And the guy walks in. And then he goes, oh no, something's gone wrong. And then I have to backtrack and say, oh, well, see, I was at a fancy dress party that I haven't made it home from yet. And, you know, it was about brides and priests and I was a bride. This was my driver, but you can go now. We'll catch up later, you know, like, and then you have to like try and work out how to not make that awkward, right? You can't turn up in a wedding dress on the first date. It's going to take a couple of conversations before you can bring that one up. You scare the other person away, right? But it does come down to asking a better question. You want more information before you send them information. Otherwise, just accept that they want the information that you offered them while they know nothing. Accept that they want the information because they said, sure, give them the information and then see if they'll turn up. And if they do, great. You get to deal with it as they turn up. And if they don't, it's just a follow-up system. Step number 4, right? So there's a way around it. But you can't make someone speak if you start with the wrong set of questions.
Misty, what are your favorite startup kick-up, questions? Like what, when you say the best questions, give us some examples.
All right. So if we're going to use Facebook as an example, it could be just get straight to the point. Hey, I personally would say, hey, I'm an Isagenix consultant. We're friends on Facebook. I don't know if you've ever heard of it at all, but wondering if you've got any goals heading into Christmas. Want to fit into a bikini, or just ask that way, or just if you want to go down that way of, hey, just come up with the, what do I get? I come up with the ones, I get the ones that say, oh, I've come up with this way to make money or to lose weight, or this great idea. Just wondering if you'd be interested in finding out more about that, right? I mean, Christmas is coming after all, right? How to get a bikini body, how to lose weight now so you can eat whatever you like come Christmas and not feel anxious about it, whatever it might be. Wait for them to say yes, right? Give them the information, right? Which is, well, I'm an Isagenix consultant. See if they start talking to you, right? I'm an Isagenix consultant. I have this reset program. It costs this much money. Right? What's the worst that can happen? They don't respond back, or they don't respond back for about 4 days. Maybe they're thinking about it. Maybe they read your message while they were stopped at the traffic lights, and then they didn't get back to it. Maybe they got distracted with life, right? The biggest problem I find with, and I'm going to use network marketers because they tend to write a lot through Messenger or LinkedIn things or whatever, right, is that they start a conversation with someone and ask a question. That person answers a question, and then might ask something back. Like someone will say to me, want to know if you want a great way of making money before now on Christmas. I'll say this. Oh, sounds like network marketing. Love network marketing. What company is that you're from? Then they tell me, and then they ask me a question. Like as if their answer isn't enough for me. So they're trying to get information out of me by keep asking me questions to get me to talk. But now that you've got my attention, I have questions because I'm the customer. I have questions. And so now I'm asking my questions, getting you to answer, but I'm in my conversation. You're asking your questions, getting me to answer. You're in your conversation, but nobody's actually talking to each other because everyone's trying to work their own agenda. Here's the secret. The person who speaks the most buys. Let it be the customer. Get them asking you questions. Sure, I'd like more information. Great, I'm an Isagenix consultant. Ever heard of it before? Yes or no is what it's going to be, right? Or it's to do with whatever it might be. Or it's, I'm running this workshop. Just see if you can get them there. Get to the point. Just see if you can get them there. They'll either turn up or they won't. But you already had them say yes. Sure, give me the information. And then if they miss it, you can say, hey, I know you wanted more information, but you couldn't make it. I hope that you're okay. This is what we talked about. Or I'm running another one. Or did the timing suck? Or was there a family issue? I hope that you're okay. Oh, this person's really nice. They're not berating me for not turning up. They're just checking in to see if I'm all right. And then you become their friend. So it's really just a matter of learning how to be friendly with someone, given that they are literally a dead set stranger. Right? Rachel. Not sure if that, does that answer your question, or does it just give you a new way on how to look at it?
I think so the person that speaks the most buys, I've never had that happen to me. So it's usually the other way around. But yes, I guess I can look at it a different way. Yeah.
Yeah. Pay attention to the question that you ask, see what their answer is, and then do exactly what you said to their answer. and then
Yes.
see what response you get. But the secret is if they start asking you questions, don't ask them any more questions. I ask this all the time. Why do you keep asking questions? And the other person will say, because I don't want them to leave the conversation. Why would they leave it? They're asking you questions and you're answering them. They're literally asking you questions. In real life, if you were on the phone or face to face, when they ask you a question, you'd answer it, you'd still be talking to each other. So if they're now asking you questions, just answer them and wait for the next question.
Mm.
They have a plan.
I think from my perspective, I think it's a bit like, because we're a health business and there's not one size, well, we pride ourselves on, you know, we tailor programs to suit. It's a bit like going to the doctor and then, you know, you want your doctor to be asking you questions instead of going, oh yeah, just take this, it costs this much, see you later. You know what I
There
mean?
must be a starting space, though. There has to be a starting space. I know Heather uses a 30-day reset as a starting space. Because it's only from the 30-day reset you get to find out more about the person anyway. And the 30-day reset, I'll just ask the question and I'm happy, whatever the information comes out is, the 30-day reset works for everybody, right? Because it just kind of resets you.
Yeah, but we have to coach. We don't have to, but we coach them. So, and everyone's a bit different, you know. Some people will say, look, I've tried lots of other things and I just can't stick to it. So, oh, right, I know that your motivation level is low. So that's something that I need to work on you with in the 30 days. So it's just giving me information so I know how to coach them. Because it's not a kind of you buy it, set and forget. It's kind of you really need to work with them.
Correct. But
Yeah.
until they buy it, you don't need to do anything. You've got to
Yeah,
get
I
them to buy
guess-
one thing so that then you can do something with them. Until they buy one thing, there's nothing for you to do. You can collect information about them, but there's nothing for you to do. It's like, let's say everybody decided to get everyone on collagen, right? Like collagen, liquid collagen's good, right? Good for hair, good for nails, good for skin. Softens everything up. It's, you know, soft skin, moisture in, right? So it's going to be good for everyone, right? Really, you're going to come across someone that it's not good for, right? So as an example, let's say we're using collagen, right? Then really, someone said, yeah, all right, I'd like to try out the collagen. Get them to try out the collagen and then find out, okay, great. What do you want it to do? I really want longer hair, longer, thicker hair. Great. Now you know what to talk to them about, right? And you have to have it like one bottle every day. Tastes like apple juice. It's like, to me, it's like, was it Alice in Wonderland? You could have like this little Alice in Wonderland drink. You just drink it down and then get on with your day, right? So along the way, you might find that they have trouble having that every day because they've not really got a time and a space for it. So you get to coach them on how to have that every day, but over the space of the 30 days, you get to talk to them about whatever it might be. So, but a lot of products are still, if you start them on any one of them, you've got a conversation with them and things can be adjusted along the way.
Yeah, my thing is, and this is in my job as well, it's people buy on emotion rather than price. You know, people will spend more money for something they trust and believe in, and if they like you as a person, they're more likely to purchase something. So, you know, getting that emotional buy-in, I think, is super important. That's how I do it.
I
Obviously, there's
100%
other
agree
ways.
with you. 100% agree with you. So what they're buying is the person being friendly. That's where they spend their cash first. You might have the solution to what they want or kind of part of the solution, or maybe in some instances, you don't even have the solution for what they want. But since you were the nicest person, I'll test out your solution to somebody else's, right? So with network marketing, how they feel about you becomes their beginning part, right, of their emotion towards you. And then there's work you have to do once they become a customer. But the first thing is to let them become a customer. I learned this when I was selling furniture, right? I was brilliant as a barmaid. But when I moved to furniture, I thought it was so different. And I would talk to all of these people, right? And I'd go through what they wanted and everything. They wouldn't buy. My boss said, she said, Missy, do you know why they're not buying? Yes, I'd love to know why they're not buying. She said, keep talking to them. Once they decided to buy, you then ask them a question like, oh, well, let's go over to the counter and I'll write this down. And what are you doing for the rest of the weekend? She said, no, watch them go, oh, crap, I was supposed to be doing these other things. Yeah, if you could write that down really fast, I've got to go, I'll come back later. She said, and they do buy. They just don't buy with you because you wrote it down for them and they came back later. She said, stop talking to them until after they've become the customer. And then so when you're taking their money, after you've taken their money, so what are you doing for the rest of the day? He said, but you had them the whole time. It was a big one for me because that was the difference between making sales and not making sales. He's not realizing that I'd already got them across the line simply because they picked me to buy from. And then I distracted them. We salesmen do it all the time. Right? It's one to think about, right? So when it comes to selling, there's a lot of different little areas, tiny little areas. It's kind of like basketball. You've got to learn to dribble the ball with your right hand, then your left hand, then while you're walking up and down the court, then when someone's coming at you, right? And then you've got to shoot from this angle and this angle and this angle. And then when someone's coming at you and then, you know, so there's a lot of little bits, right? And so we've got to pull it all apart. The beginning part comes with how to go from no sales to sales, just in those 5 steps. And then we get to fine tune underneath each step, right? And Rachel, you've just brought out something that needs a bit of fine tuning, like we all need that bit of fine tuning, the initial conversation, right? There's a lot of little areas in there, right? But if we look at the basics of what we've learned today, let's just quickly go around. Raquel, what's your take home from today?
Oh, keep it really simple. There's no need to build a relationship before they're a customer. You get to know them after they're a customer. I have a simple reach out that I can duplicate to 12 people a day rather than 5 sales a week. I could be doing a lot more, and really just by simplifying it, not over analyzing everything and making it more complicated than it needs to be. Because really, you reach out to people, ask them a question. If they're interested, give them the information, and then you get the sale.
That's right. And now they're your friend, and then you can adjust as necessary.
Yeah, and some of them become friends and some don't, and that's okay too.
No, that's exactly right. But they're a friend on your end, just not from their end, and that's completely fine, right? Or they are a friend from their end, they just do it differently to what you used to. So, you know, it's all there, right? If they keep buying, then they're friends with you. They just don't need you to keep buying. Others need the consultant to keep buying because they need you.
And trying to convince people that they should buy is where you lose them.
Yeah. So I have a list of answers. There's only 8 answers to every single sales objection in the world. There's only 8 answers, and 3 of them are very similar. Right? So it doesn't matter what sales objection it is, and none of them is you convincing them. They're all just you going, I hear exactly what you're saying, and that's one of them. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Because it doesn't matter what they're complaining about. Here's what we need to know as salesmen that never gets taught, but I'm going to teach you this here. Customers will always give a negative response about whatever it is that you say. Always. It's not an objection. It's comment. We've been to the grocery store, stood there at the checkout going, I only came in for milk. $50? Oh my God. Right? So we always have a negative response. It's just who we are. Right? We salesmen, all you need to know is you can handle their negative response. You can handle their negative opinion. You can handle their negative thoughts. You just don't know that you can handle it until you're told you can. But I'm telling you, you can. And if you're silent for long enough, step number 3, they'll then get over it. It's only their negative response. It's not the only thing for you to get caught up with.
Misty, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have a customer. She came to me. She said she wanted this solution. Great. We've gone through the process, sent her the cart, but now she's seeing everything and still hasn't ordered.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just followed up with her when we started this call and just said, hey, I hope I haven't overwhelmed you. Let me know if you need any more information. I hope you've had a great weekend. Is that okay? I mean, or should I just let her go.
No, you've done, that's exactly what I would have said, except I wouldn't have said, do you want more information? She's already overwhelmed.
No, actually,
What does she need more information on, right?
you're
but it's
right.
more to the
I
point.
didn't say that. That came out, but I actually said, I hope I didn't overwhelm you. I hope you've had a fabulous weekend.
Yeah, right. I hope I didn't overwhelm you. Exactly. Otherwise, you say, I bet I overwhelmed you with that shopping cart.
Yeah.
I hope I haven't ruined your weekend.
That's true.
Right?
All right. So it's not
So you're on track.
yeah, okay, good. Thanks.
Hey,
Because
Missy,
then she
I
can come
love
back and go,
that.
here's where I'm at.
Misty,
Sorry,
I love the going around the room. So, but I'm also conscious we said an hour. So do you want to just keep that?
Sorry about that. I know I was watching
I
that
love
too
it.
going, we've
Yeah.
got to wrap it up. So I was just going to ask what your take homes were, but I know that I've also taken up an extra 6 minutes of your time. So I am sorry about that.
Take up another 60. This has been
Yeah,
great.
and I'm happy to, let's just do quickly one word around the room because I think it's really good to hear.
Yep. So Heather, what's your take home?
Well, I just wrote down here about not justifying. So there's just the whole thing about the price. Just, put it out there. I've heard you say that before. Just put it out there. It's, 470 reset is a great place to start. I love that. Yeah, there's so much. Just
Fill in the price. If they
yeah,
say how
in
much
the
is
price.
it, that's all they ask
And
for. They don't
also,
ask for an
as Raquel
explanation.
said,
Yeah.
so, saying, hey, I'm an isogenics consultant. I'm not sure if you knew that. We're currently doing a 30-day reset. Is that something you'd be interested in? Boom, and just wait and see. So, yeah, I love it.
Yep. Sinead, you with us?
Just coming in on the tail end.
Janine, yeah.
I've got 2 customers that you were just describing and how I interacted with them over the last 3 days. So I'm going to go back with, I've probably completely overwhelmed you and I hope I haven't ruined your weekend.
There you go.
I really
Right?
liked that.
You can fix any mistake you've made. I used to test this out at networking. Captain Doe. I'd go out, it'd be a nightmare. I'd hand my card to everybody. I'd just be horrible. And then I would leave and I'd write to everyone and say, how many cards you collect? Did you meet that crazy woman too? I was that crazy woman. Oh, you're the only one that followed me up after the event. I know. Right? So you can fix anything that you break by falling on your sword saying, shit, I think I just made a mistake with you. Sorry about that. I got a bit excited. And they're like, oh, no, that's cool. And it starts a conversation. Oh, that's all right. Kath, what's your take home?
Listen. Stop and listen. Kath to have a chat. So I need to just pause.
We get
and not
excited
do-
as salesmen. I get excited as a salesman. I know that point where I'm going,
Yeah.
shit, I know I was supposed to be quiet.
I need to
Now I have to
pause
fix it.
and not rush to the sale.
Yeah. Don't rush the sale. Don't worry. It's there. It's there. Just give them a little bit of time to catch up. Yep. Belinda.
Yeah, it's been a bit of confirmation for me. Sorry, I've got noise in the background.
Yep, you're right.
That I actually do that. I deliver all the information all at once, and the price and everything as well. I feel like I've known for what I sell. I feel possibly, and I do have a follow-up system as well. It probably is that I just need to get known by more people and have more of the conversations. But I do find it works just sending everything through all at once. And then I ask the questions when I'm actually coaching them. Can I ask you a few once they're signed up, can I ask you a few questions to help me coach you best? Things like that. So
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait until they sign up. But until then, give them the information and let them make an informed decision.
yeah. And I don't build relationships because I'm not that type of person.
It's already there. There's nothing to build. Bron, not sure if you're with us.
I think she might be just listening in from the car or something.
Yep.
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Misty. I think we've covered everybody. Yeah, I just really appreciate you and love the fact that you've really, I think with any type of training, if it gets you to stop and think about what you're doing and look and turning it upside down and looking at how you can do it differently, then it's super cool. So thank you so much. Appreciate
You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. So I recommend just click on that link to the Etsy store and get how to go from no sales to sales. It's just it has games and things. You practice over dinner. So how to practice selling, but to people, and it's called Beat the Salesman. And you see if they can't not buy from you. when you start to learn how to practice little parts of either
Cool.
saying the price or being silent or saying what it is that you do. And you see if your family can't not buy from you. And they're good because they don't want to, right? And then they go, I don't know, I kind of liked you.
Yeah.
And see what their response is. So it's got some good games in there.
Question. I didn't get the link because too much for me at the start, all on one device, but can you drop it in the chat, Heather? Did you
Oh
have
yeah,
it?
I'll drop it into the chat box. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. So I'll just put it here again for in case someone missed it. And
Oh, because I
and I'll
don't
put
have
it
my
into
chat
our
up.
messenger.
I'll get it and it'll go in our chat as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll put it
great,
in our
thanks.
messenger as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. I got
All
it.
right, guys.
Okay.
Thank
see
you.
guys.
Thanks, Misty. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
See you guys.